40 Baptist leaders representing 22 states signed on to an FRC letter to President Donald Trump urging him to take immediate action on the dangerous abortion drug mifepristone, which has been a growing threat to women and unborn children, thanks in part to a Biden-era policy that still remains in place. Now, 63% of abortions are now being performed through this abortion pill. Now, considering how President Trump has been so forceful in fixing the debacles of the last administration, why is this deadly policy still in place? Joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Will Hall, Director of the Louisiana Baptist Office of Public Policy, the Executive Editor of the Louisiana Baptist Message. Dr. Hall, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, and thanks for the conversation that preceded this. Excellent.
Well, a lot going on in the world, and we bounce all over. And we want to come back to this domestic issue because I think, actually, Dr. Hall, there are two things I think we have to get right as a nation. One is how we align with the Word of God when it comes to Israel. And second, and actually I would say first, is how we align with the issue of life as God has ordained it. Because every human being has the fingerprint of God, the image of God. They're image bearers. And we've seen something happen in post-Roe since the Dobbs decision. We've actually seen an increase in abortion in this country, primarily because of the abortion pill. And you've been speaking out on this, and so have Baptist leaders, and now they've signed a letter to the president to that effect.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the lead in this letter and allowing our state leaders to participate in this. Because it is very critical to all of us. And, especially for us, there are 12 states that have totally banned all abortions. And this letter will help us put that last piece of the bulwark in place that will help us to stop the illegal abortions that are taking place in our states. And
let me ask you about that, Dr. Hall, because you're the head of the Office of Public Policy, so you know policy there in the state of Louisiana, my home state. I helped pass a lot of the pro-life laws there. Louisiana is one of the strongest pro-life states in the nation, and as you pointed out, there's about 13 that have totally lined up on the side of life. But in effect, that's being nullified by a federal policy that allows abortion pills to be mailed into those states.
Yeah, and it seems to contradict President Trump's position on this, which he has stated as a states' rights issue. And so in order to protect states' rights, he needs to come alongside us as a partner in completing a ban on the shipment of abortion pills into states that ban it. I think he ought to ban a total, a national shipping of the abortion pills.
Right.
But specifically for those states that have taken the law and the legal measures to say we don't want mifepristone and misoprostol to be shipped into our state. We don't want our women and children being exposed to telemedicine appointments for abortions without state doctors.
Because the president and others, I don't necessarily agree with this interpretation of the Dobbs decision, but many have said, well, this gives the states the right to protect the unborn. I think it gives policymakers, all policymakers, federal and state, to do that. However, let's just take the state for a moment. We have 41 states that have actually adopted some form of law restricting abortion, protecting the unborn. But again, those are all being nullified because of the non-enforcement of the Comstock Act that allows abortion pills to be mailed into states, and secondly, the FDA policy that no longer requires an in-person consultation in order to dispense these abortion pills. It's led to about 11% increase in emergency situations with women ending up in emergency rooms as a result of this. But this is not something new for the Southern Baptist. This was an issue at the most recent convention where Baptists gathered. Speak to that issue and how this is an issue that, as a whole, the whole Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination in the country, is speaking into this.
Well, first I want to say that banning mifepristone or both abortion pills is essential to protecting the lives of the unborn. And as you've noticed, there's been a tick up across the nation in abortions because of the easy availability of these drugs. But this letter asking President Trump to take action also essential to protect the health of women and children. We have a case that is getting a lot of attention where we're suing a doctor in New York because she shipped abortion pills to a mother, had no contact with a young girl that actually ended up with the abortion pills. The mother coerced the young girl into take the pills. The young girl was actually planning to have a gender reveal party. And the only reason that we found out about this coercion and also about this legal activity by New York is because the young girl had severe hemorrhaging and made a 911 call. Police arrived, thought there something else was going on, and realized that she had taken the abortion pill, and she ended up in the emergency room in critical condition. And so we've got to do something, one, to protect the unborn, and two, to protect our women and children from bad medicine.
This is a human trafficker's dream to be able to do this.
Absolutely.
And we've got a case, a similar case in Texas, where a boyfriend got the pill through the mail and put it into, I think it was his girlfriend, I don't think it was his wife, his girlfriend's drink, and a similar outcome. So this is an issue of health for the women, and obviously it's deadly for the babies. Do you see this as being a continuing to be an issue with Southern Baptists across the country? I mean, 22 states signing on to this is pretty significant. It's a pretty widespread element of the Baptist Convention across the country.
Yes, look, I talk with my peers across the many states that are part of the Southern Baptist Convention, and it's an issue in their states. Of course, you can tell because of the number of leaders that signed on. We passed a resolution in 2023, our state asking the government to do the very same things that you asked in this letter that you led in getting to President Trump. And then, of course, the Southern Baptists took the story. And you know how difficult it is, Tony, to get an agreement on such a contentious issue among, the diverse people that make up the Southern Baptist Convention. But it passed without objection.
Well, I'm prayerful and hopeful that the president will respond to this letter from these 40 Baptist leaders. Dr. Hall, thanks for joining us.